we figured out we had not talked about this game, and somehow we had not done an episode about it, which was very surprising. But we have kind of talked about this game twice in the past, technically, but not a full-blown episode. And I guess what better time than now than when all of the DLC is out, and now we just gotta wait for the sequel to come out.
Yep, seems like a good time to me.
Seems like as good a time as any. So yes, hello, welcome to this week's episode of the Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we have conversations. You want
to try that again?
It's a podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, and manga. Hello, I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Al and Lady
Hello.
This is episode number 441, and we are going to be discussing the PowerWash Simulator.
PowerWash Simulator.
Yes.
I hyperfixated on this game for a while.
You did. A lot of people did as well, so it wasn't just you, but
true.
Yeah, this is a game where you power wash things. It's pretty much right in the title what you do in the game. It's pretty self-explanatory.
You have a power washer, you power wash, you make things clean.
In the vein of the 3 bajillion other simulator games out there. Yeah, this was a very interesting game to see kind of like blow up in a way, because like you look at just on surface of this is a game about power washing, which is a pretty mundane and regular thing to do, just a chore. And you're like, how does that translate into being a fun video game? And somehow it just does in a weird way.
It's very satisfying, and the dings are very good.
Yeah, it's very satisfying. It's a great game to just kind of zone out on. It's a good podcast game. One of those kinds of things. And yeah, just for some reason, you put these like very kind of boring jobs into a video game, and somehow they become fun.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but that's just how
I don't get
works
it either.
Sometimes.
Like, we were talking about it when we last played. Like, power washing IRL would probably, like, suck as a job.
Yeah.
But, like, doing it in this is fun. I don't know what it is.
Well, I think it helps as well that this game in particular takes you to a bunch of weird locations and has a just kind of all over the place story, and then there's also the licensed DLCs that they've put out for this game that are also just
some are very good,
all over the place. So it lets you kind of go and clean a bunch of random things that you're just like, all right, cool, and have some fun. You can do a co-op with your friends. It's a good time to be had. But yeah, Power Wash Simulator.
Why did you do that again? Why?
It's a good goof. This was first available in early access on May 19th, 2021, so 4 years ago. That's when it first came out in early access. Then the full release came out on July 14th, 2022 for the PC and Xbox. It was ported to the Switch, PS4, and PS5 on January 31st, 2023. And then came to VR headsets on November 2nd, 2023. And now we are waiting for a sequel to come out allegedly this year. We'll have to wait and see if that actually hits or not. But yeah, that is the case. And yeah, there's a bajillion DLCs for this. We have played through a good majority of it. There's a couple of the DLCs we haven't played, some of the licensed stuff, but a good chunk of it we have played through.
Most of it we have. I think, what did we not get? The Wallace and Gromit one, because I don't care about that.
The Warhammer one.
Warhammer, yeah, I don't care about that
Did we
either.
do the SpongeBob one?
No.
Okay, so
I was going to, but I was waiting for it to get cheaper, and I don't think I continue to pay attention to it.
That's fair. But we did the Tomb Raider one and the Final Fantasy VII one because those were free. And then we got the Back to the Future one, the Alice in Wonderland one, and then, of course, Shrek.
Which is, I think, the best one.
Somebody once told me.
I mean, we had, like, actual, like, Shrek-themed power washing machines.
It's pretty good.
it was pretty good. And like we got to what all did we get to do?
We invaded the swamp.
We did invade the swamp. We
Mm-hmm.
got to have text messages with Donkey.
Mm-hmm.
We got to like power wash the like honeymoon area,
Mm-hmm. The
eh,
castle.
the castle. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The workshop with the fairy godmother lady.
Right. Yes, that's true as well.
That one was huge.
It was very big.
But that one was like really, really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the one thing they really do well with their licensed DLC stuff is really capture the essence of whatever they're taking from a specific property, whether it is games, TV, whatever, essentially,
Hmm.
and putting it into this game about power washing of all things.
It is really funny. Like I keep thinking of like the Final Fantasy VII DLC
Mm-hmm.
where it's like you're dealing with like Cloud at one point with the bar, but then like Shinra starts texting you and is like, "Hey, can you power wash some of our Shinra stuff?" And you're like,
Yeah.
"Huh?" And it's just like, "All right, I guess we're working with everybody now." Um, but then you get to do cool stuff like, "Oh, hey, one of Barrett's gun arms is just on the table at Seventh Heaven, and we're gonna power wash that." And oh, hey, here's the Buster Sword. We're gonna power wash that too.
Here's the
The,
motorcycle.
I say the Hardy Daytona. I think that's what it's called.
Here's the first boss of the game.
Yes. The you get the little truck
Yeah.
from the beginning,
You
and
get
not the beginning. The
there's
well, it
a
is technically.
there's like a scale model of Midgar.
Yes. Like it's a good thing. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think the only one that was kind of lackluster was the Tomb Raider one,
Yeah, there's not a lot there except for like the big first level, and that level sucked.
but also like it's Tomb Raider, so.
Yeah,
But I
like
mean, like I guess in that respect, like you would think more like you'd be going out into like the wilderness and going through like caves and maybe something of that nature, like a Tomb Raider.
hmm
But it's just like, here's my house, clean
here's
my house and my obstacle course and my
and
car.
my boat and Jeep thing.
Yeah, it's just like, all
It's like,
right,
oh, okay.
I guess.
Yeah, that was the only one that I didn't really love, but it was still fun to power wash.
Yeah, I mean,
But
hey,
then there was also like the Muckingham files that were good.
yeah, which was just like, here's just a bunch of weird things that you can go do, and it's like,
Hmm
it's great because they're all like free as well. So
hmm Yeah, they put out a lot of free content for this, which
they
is
did.
really great.
They put out a lot of those Muckingham files. There was some like holiday DLCs that were free.
Hmm
So like there was quite a lot of content you got for free just for playing the game and everything that they put out. Like the only things that were really paid for was the license stuff, and that was outside of the Tomb Raider and Final Fantasy stuff because those were just Square properties, so they kind of include those for free essentially. But yeah, and even
One day
then,
we'll do the SpongeBob.
yeah, sure, and even then, like the DLC prices themselves aren't like super expensive either. So
Right. It's like what, $7?
something of that nature, essentially. Yeah, somewhere around
Which
there.
most of them we got on sale, so.
Yeah, and you're getting like a good handful of levels, and those are going to be pretty large, and going to take you some time. So
Oh, we did Back to the Future. I forgot about that one.
yeah, we went to the mall. We went to a movie theater. They did the Jaws 3D thing.
God, that was embarrassing for me.
We power washed the train from 3.
We did. I,
Normal
I
things.
I still feel so dumb about that because, like, I've seen Back to the Future. I know but you are well aware of this, and I may have mentioned it before on the podcast. I seem to block out things with sharks in them.
Yeah.
Like, I just mentally block it.
Yes. I assume we talked about this when we talked about the Resident Evil 1.
Yeah.
Which I think we've talked about that on the podcast at some point. I would assume we have,
hmm
but there's a section near the end of that game where you have to fight through an area where there's a shark like trying to chase you. I think
A big shark.
big shark, big shark.
Blech.
Um, And yeah, when Al was kind of guiding me through that portion of it, episode 114 is when we talked about Resident Evil.
Okay, wow.
That was February of 2019, of course.
Oh my God. Before times.
Before times, yeah. But yeah, there's a section where like, there's a shark and you got to deal with it and everything. And I was like, I don't remember this section at all. Like I've completely blocked it from my memory. It's gone. It just this part of the game just doesn't exist to me. Like everything else though, I have full memory of. This part, nope.
Well, because the rest of it was like walking you through. It's like, oh, you go this way and you go this way and you go this way. You do this, 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 and this. And then I got there. It's like, I, I don't know what to do here. And you're like, what do you mean? And it was like, I don't know. And then you just kept going forward, and then the shark popped out, and we're like, oh,
Aha.
ah. So apparently, this is just a thing that I do, that I just mentally block out shark bits and things if I don't know how my brain does this. But it apparently had done that about Back to the Future. And in the DLC, they're like, oh, if you stand on the X at the theater, like a nice little thing's gonna happen to you. And I was like, oh, I love nice little things. And I stood on it. And I was like, no. And you're like,
It's like, bruh.
did you not remember? I was like, no, I didn't. I didn't remember. I didn't remember. And then I just stayed the hell away from that X for the rest of the power wash. It was like, nope, nope, no, 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 no. I do not want that. No, thank you.
I think the only shark related thing that you have memory of is when we played through Resident Evil 6, just because, we played through that game multiple times and we kind of just like, no, this is a section we're gonna have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Which I mean, we dealt with it pretty easily. This latest time we did it, so
Yeah,
just
I did.
convincing you that it wasn't a shark.
That was the move, was to convince me that it wasn't a shark, because we're just like, no, this is just a weird little monster guy. He's
Weird
not a
mutated
shark at
freak
all.
fish.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. I think because he didn't like, I don't know, he didn't look extremely sharky.
Right.
But he did still try and eat me, and I didn't like that.
Hey, some fish are gonna try and eat you.
Well, that's
A
unfortunate.
whale might try and eat you.
Yeah, but they're not as scary to me.
But hey,
If I'm gonna get eaten by a shark or a whale, I'd rather get eaten by a whale. At least it's kind of cute.
the more you know.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if I have the choice, the whale's the way to go. Probably hurt less.
Uh,
Have you seen a shark's mouth?
have you seen a whale's mouth?
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
It doesn't have like lines of teeth that are all jaggedy and
Yeah, but that might mean a whale might try and like take longer for you to eat you,
I don't care.
or you're gonna get swallowed whole and live in the belly of a whale.
Yeah, Pinocchio did it. It's fine. Sora did it. Sora, Donald, and Goofy did it.
Sora.
So I can
Yep.
obviously do it,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's how that works.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I have more of a shot with a whale than I do with a shark. But I completely blocked it out, and then my dumbass was like, "Oh, the X, they're telling me a nice thing's gonna happen to me," and no, it's not nice at all. Terrible, actually. And then I was just upset the whole time we were doing the power washing in that area.
uh,
Oops.
oops, magoops.
Teehee.
Somehow they have not made Jaws like 36 yet, so
Thank God.
they didn't make many more Jaws after Back to the Future 2.
Yeah. I mean, Jaws 3 is the one that gave me the initial trauma, so.
How was it the third one and not like the first one? Because that was the first one you saw?
Yep.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yep.
We're going to desensitize you to sharks. They're just going to make you watch all the Jaws movies in succession until you're just like, I'm cool with it. Bring a shark on, I'll punch it in the nose.
Do you know how it went last time somebody tried to desensitize me to a shark?
Oh, no.
I've told you this story, I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
But my family's like, oh, we'll just like, try and show her that it's all movie magic and it's fake and it's all good. So we're gonna take her to Universal Studios in Orlando
Oh no.
and we're gonna take her on the Jaws ride,
Oh
and then she'll see like
no.
it's just a movie shark and it can't hurt you, and it's just gonna be like, whoa, scary. Ah. And my brother, delightful human that he is, I love my brother to pieces. He was not thinking at this point. He was probably, 8 or 9, something like that. I don't even know how old he
Kids don't
was, but
think.
no, they don't. But they tell you to keep like all your limbs inside the boat and all that fun stuff. And he had his
Yeah.
elbow.
Normally, how like that's how rides work.
Yeah, he had his elbow like on the edge of the railing of the boat. And then when Bruce, the shark, popped up, he got scared and he pulled his elbow in and he scraped his elbow on the railing, and so he started bleeding. And so my brain interprets this as the shark just bit my brother, which made the trauma worse because they're like, "Oh, we'll show her that it's fake, that the shark can't hurt you."
Oops.
And then Keller brings in his arm and he's bleeding because Bruce the shark just popped up. And then my little kid brain's like, "Oh God, it's over. It's over.
It's gonna eat me.
It's gonna eat me." Like that's just how sharks do. They bite you and you die and you bleed and it's awful. And so like I go into hysterics, panic attack, and so that's what solidified the shark trauma.
The best part is this would be like what, like mid '90s roller coaster technology.
Well, it's not even mid-90s roller coaster because I don't know. Have you ever seen how the Jaws ride worked?
No.
It was a boat ride
Yeah.
at Universal, and like it had just like sections of the ride where like just the head part of the shark would pop up and try and like get your boat, quote unquote.
Arr.
So it wasn't even like a roller coaster, but yeah, I would search when that game or that when that ride came out, but I can't search for anything Jaws related or it'll be horribly traumatic. So if you want to search and see when the Universal Studios Orlando Jaws ride came out, then you'll know when the technology was.
Universal Studios Jaws Cup Ride Merchandise Sipper 50th Anniversary Sipper Ride Incident
What? No, not a ride incident.
Jaws Ride. Originally opened in 1990, and another installment later opened in Japan in 2001.
Why?
It was there until 2012, where it was replaced by Harry Potter.
Yep.
Poor shark.
No. I mean, yes, because Harry Potter too, but so 1990s when it came out?
Yeah. Oh, here's the incident.
Oh, what was the incident?
In July of 1990, a 39-year-old man fell into the water while riding after a boat railing allegedly broke. According to his lawyer, guests applauded as he was pulled back into the boat, having assumed the incident was part of the ride. There were no serious injuries, and he sued Universal for $1 million, claiming negligence and poor maintenance.
So we could have sued them for negligence and poor maintenance and gotten money for my brother's Sharky incident?
Yeah.
What the hell? Well, the funny thing about this, and I know we're so off topic for
No,
PowerWash
that's fair.
Simulator, but the funny thing about this is that like for the longest time, Keller would like use this as like a pickup line that he got like bit by the shark,
Of
like
course.
when he was hitting on ladies. Because he has a scar. Like he has a scar from where he got bit, quote unquote. Um, like obviously the shark was nowhere near him. It could have not come anywhere close to him because that's not how the ride worked. But again, my little kid brain, when I was like, what, 5, 6, something like that, interpreted it as shark bit brother. It's the end of the world. And that's the story of how I got shark trauma. And it all started because my brother, he feels really bad by the way about all this. My brother thought that I needed to see Jaws 3 because he thought it was a cool movie because he was like 8 and he's like, "You need to see this." because I want you to see the cool things that I like, trying to be a good big brother. But my little kid brain's like, oh, this is scary and terrible. And then I was like scared to like take a bath or like use the toilet for a while because I'm like, a shark's gonna get me. Which is why they tried to desensitize the whole thing. Like, we drove from Tennessee to Florida to try and fix this shark trauma, and we made it worse.
Uh,
So this is why when the shark comes out at me in Back to the Future Power Wash Simulator,
Back on topic.
I'm like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
There you
So
go.
anyway, that's the story of how I got shark trauma. I have clown trauma too from him showing me it at the same time.
I do like when you look this up and there's a section just for like the Jaws franchise on Wikipedia. Under video games, it tells you about the various Jaws video games that have been out there, of course.
There's
And
one on NES, right?
yes, there's the unlicensed Atari arcade game, the NES one. There's a like PS2 era one. There's a Jaws.io game. And then, of course, the final game that came out last year, Funko Fusion.
What?
Because it's probably licensed in there.
Oh my God.
Anyways, I think the only way we can segue from all of that owl trauma is to discuss the plot of the game, which I'm going to read verbatim from Wikipedia because it is a very bonkers video game story.
It's so wild.
That is basically only told through like text messages you get as you are power washing various things.
Yes.
So it's kind of hard to keep track of, but it is just very also out there.
Also worth mentioning, there's always a gnome.
Always a gnome.
Mm-hmm. And there's a reason for that too.
At the beginning of the game, the player character has just started their own power washing business in the town of Muckingham. They are gifted a van by their friend, archaeologist Harper Shaw, who helps them find their first few clients, which is like a motorcycle and like you power wash your own van and like all this sort of stuff. During each job, the power washer character receives text messages from the client. These text messages often include information about the location or vehicle being cleaned, explanations on how it became so dirty, and their thoughts on things going on around Muckingham. As the power washer completes each job, their reputation around town grows, and they are hired for more work by returning new clients. You know, that all makes sense. Very normal. Also,
Very normal.
one of the things I think this game does really well is once you you do all your power washing and then you finish a job, and it'll do like a time lapse of you doing all the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very smart. Very good.
It's very fun. It's also funny when you do it co-op because like sometimes
It breaks.
it breaks, or like the person will just show up like halfway through, like you're like, oh, okay, hello.
Or it'll be like the camera will be in a place where like no one will be for like half of it, and then it's like, and here they come. As time passes, the people of Muckingham began noticing strange occurrences such as unusual activity near the dormant Mount Rushliss volcano and the disappearance of all Muckingham's cats, including Mayor Jeff Jefferson XIII's cat Ulysses. Further messages reveal that Mayor Jefferson has been diverting the town's water to an illegal mining operation by corrupt tycoon Blake Thrust, leading the mayor to flee the town. Eventually, the power washer is hired to clean a flying saucer controlled by a cerulean Sky, a time-traveling scientist from the year 2278. Sky explains he was investigating the impending eruption of Mount Rushliss, which in his future triggered the eruption of every volcano on the Pacific Rim, not the movie, blocking out the sky with ash for decades and causing near global extinction. However, Thrust shot down Sky's ship and stole some of his technology, upsetting the timeline and causing the volcano to become active ahead of schedule. Several previous clients began evacuating from Muckingham to escape the volcano. Shaw discovers two ancient statues unearthed by the recent seismic activity, one of which fires a beam towards Mount Rushliss after being cleared, and the other of which points to a temple emerging from the ocean, the fishy smell of which had attracted Muckingham's cats. With the help of some of their clients, the power washer reaches the temple, finding it filled with tributes to themselves. When the power washer finishes cleaning the temple, a gem emerges, not a game,
Nope.
or not a Game Boy.
Nope.
A gem emerges that fires another beam at the volcano. Thrust's private jet flies toward the temple but is shot down by Sky's flying saucer. Sky notifies the power washer that the temple was built by the pacifists. pacifist, pacifist. I don't know. This is why I'd be questioning this. The Pacific counterpart of the Atlanteans, and that thrust search for their civilization as rare ores punctured Mount Rushless's magma chamber, triggering its premature eruption. To prevent this, Sky traveled back to the Pacific's time. We'll go with that because that's, it sounds like the ocean. And told them the Power Washer story, and they agreed to convert the temple into an offshore platform with a neutralizing beam that would stop Mount Rushless from erupting when cleaned by an experienced Power Washer. With the timeline now safe, the Power Washer returns to their business, finding Ulysses hiding in their van with his kittens.
That's the plot.
That's the plot of this game. A very normal plot for a game called Power Wash Simulator.
Sometimes you just gotta power wash like a carousel. And also a temple dedicated to you.
And a UFO.
Yeah. Why not?
Oh man. Yeah, it
It's
definitely
so funny.
Yeah, it starts out very normal and everything. Like you said, you're like power washing vehicles, some like backyards, some houses. And then by the end of it, you're power washing temples, giant statues that have been unearthed. It's just a bunch of other bonker shit. It really escalates in terms of just the ridiculous nature of the story and the areas you are going to and everything.
It's really funny. Like seeing where I did not expect it to go the directions it went. And like when it started getting weird, I was like, what's happening here? And then I'm just like, oh, whatever, I'm just gonna power wash anyway. And then you keep getting text messages you're like, what is happening here? Anyway, power washing. Oh, I'm at the temple. Oh, that's me. Okay, power washing. Woo! I'm doing the power washing thing with my hand, by the way, in case you needed to know.
I think that definitely helps elevate this game because, like, I think if you were just doing power washing of just regular objects and that was just the whole game,
I think it was more like grounded.
Yeah, I think the novelty would wear off much quicker. But
I
adding
agree.
in a bunch of just random bullshit just makes it more fun, and you get a much more diverse set of objects to go like clean and see throughout the world and everything, and just watch as the story goes completely off the rails and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel like makes me interested in how they're going to really tackle this with the sequel.
Same.
Like where do you go from here? How do you make a game, or how do you make a story in the same vein, or like one up it, or just try and match it in that case.
Right.
So that's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, and then like some of the free DLCs as well kind of like delve into some of this stuff as well. So you get kind of little story snippets like the free Muckingham ones are kind of tied into it because like you're going around the town and everything and doing stuff there and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's a very weird game, but it's just a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
We played like a lot of this through co-op. I know you originally played a lot of this by yourself, and then when it came to PlayStation, we did a lot of it co-op and all that, which was just a good time, just like chilling and just having.
It's a lot more fun co-op in my opinion.
Yeah, because you can just like hang out. It's a good yapping video game.
Mm-hmm. You can spray each other.
You can You can just be goblins to each other, as you do.
As you do.
Of
Sometimes.
course. But yeah, it is definitely a much more fun thing to do when you got like more people with you, and you can definitely cruise through a lot of those missions with more people, of course. But it doesn't really take away like the chill and kind of just laid back vibes that the game does provide as well.
Yeah, it's still super just chill and fun to do, even with somebody else. Like I mentioned, like I played it on the Xbox originally, and then how much did we say? 109 hours is what I've put into it so far.
I think that's about right. Something like something about
that sounds
that.
right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was looking at this one. 109. So yeah, I've probably put close to 140-ish, I would assume,
Yeah.
hours into this. It's just so satisfying. And the ding is my life.
Mm-hmm.
I need more satisfactory dings that tell me I'm doing a good job.
It's also always funny when we would get like to the end and it gives you like the little checklist of like, all right, here's the last couple things you need to do before you finish the level. It's like, oh, I didn't hit this thing. I failed at cleaning this.
No,
Oh,
I done goofed.
I'm so bad at my job.
Yep, that's me. It's usually me who f***ed up something.
No, we take equal blame here.
Okay.
Equal share of the blame.
But it does tend to be like little bitty things.
Yeah, it's
that,
just like a little thing
somehow you missed.
Like a little nook and cranny that just, was out of your view or something of that nature, where you're just like kind of got a little too ahead of yourself type deal. One of those
Which
things.
luckily it does have like a checklist at the end that you can be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna highlight this and it'll like make it light up on the screen so you know what you're missing.
Yeah. The dirt vision.
The dirt vision.
It's very handy.
Yeah. And once we got the 3-prong power washing thing, like it was over.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Makes things so much easier.
I love it.
Good time. Yeah, this game's really fun.
It's really fun.
Just a good chill vibes game. Good game to just kind of like zone out to, catch up on your podcast, or you can just hang out with some friends and hit up the power wash and clean some things. Just do what you gotta do.
I'm excited for more of this and some more of Human Fall Flat as
yes.
games that like are pretty chill to play co-op and are having sequels soon.
Yes, both those are that's both very exciting to know about.
Very different games though.
Very different, but they're both very good cooperative video games.
I agree, and they can also lead to some very funny things.
Yes. They lead to both of us being very gremlin-y.
Our true nature.
Our true nature, of course.
Yeah, there are gnomes everywhere in this as well. I mentioned that, but I just want to reiterate, there are gnomes everywhere in this game.
Gnome City.
Except for like in the DLCs. Like they're not in the like themed DLCs.
Right. The free ones though, they'll usually show up.
Yeah, they'll usually show up. Or there's a giant big one that's his dad apparently.
Yeah, in the latest one, there's a big gnome statue, and I was like, oh, that's sick.
I always remember the gnome in the toilet. I don't know why that's the gnome that sticks out the most to me. But the gnome in the toilet and the gnome on the roof of that like church cathedral looking thing that like we had to carefully balance so that it stayed up there.
Yeah.
For the trophy.
That was a pain in the butt.
Yeah, that was hard.
It's very sketchy.
People should play this game.
Yeah, 100%.
I also think that it it does a pretty good job of like scratching some like neurodivergent itches.
Sure.
If that's something that interests you.
Well, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
PowerWash Simulator. It's a fun game. It's a fun game.
So we learned about PowerWash Simulator and my shark trauma.
What a combination for this week.
What a podcast. We're good at podcasting.
We are. That's true. That's what they say about us. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up for us this week. So if you'd like more from us, head on over to seasonalanimecheckup.com or ssc.cool where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Jared Now Watch. You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Anladium, go to anladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Anime Checkup. Follow us on Blue Sky at seasonalanimecheckup.com. You can buy our books, One Shiny Moment, A Critical Analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, and Hot Tubs and Pac-Man on Amazon.com. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. Buy us a slice of pizza, get access to unedited versions of the podcast early. Our monthly exclusive Patreon podcast, which is a new episode of that is up. You can go listen to that. And there's a whole wealth of other bonus content on the Patreon as well. Next week, it's time to talk about a bunch of video game announcements and news and all that fun stuff. So we'll have a bunch of presentations and all that goody stuff to talk about, as is per tradition when it comes to the summer months.
Yes.
So look forward to us talking about a lot of video games next week.
Yes. No more shark trauma.